she could move them around.
Yeah. That's artwork.
Yeah.
Okay. Want to take some money on what my whoop says energy-wise today?
You're full of it. You're probably 200% energy right now.
So we did something today on the workout. As soon as I verbalized, let's just do it. We were going through motions, and then I verbalized something. And as soon as I verbalized what I wanted to do, my inner voice laughed.
Called you a fucking pussy.
Yeah, basically said I am. And so, without hesitation, I got up and put on weight again. And then even at the top weight, I tried to do something tougher, but to see if I can. And so we did partials today. We did do partials. We did deficit deadlifts, sumos. So a 6-inch block that we're on top of. So the weights are really low. It's like using quarters. And what I did was I moved up on the deadlift in a 4-pause position.
It is like using quarters.
Yeah. So I came off the floor, loaded the weight, came off the floor a couple inches, and then I pulled it to half shin while keeping the back tight and contracted, and then pulled it below the knee and then above the knee, and then I finished out the lift. And so going from what we verbalized to extreme opposite, again, it just kind of sets you up. And Jeff sent me a video of Kevin Levrone, that I thought was great. And he was just talking about things that he did when he was in his competitive years. That was great, because he talked about how he took everything and made simple things harder, so the hard things would be simpler.
Standing here.
So it was a cool thing. And then today, as you could see when we first started this, there were some photos on the screen of a pro named Jimmy Mentis, who I've known for over 3 decades. And he was a IFBB pro bodybuilder, great guy, phenomenal physique, pretty boy, got a lot of covers, not just because of his physique, but because he's this handsome cat. So it was I thought really cool that I got some news, and I'll let him break that news out to you guys as we do this. Send up a Giga. This guy's a Giga. Send a tweet on Giga. As we're doing this, let me see if I got some questions.
Yeah, there's one. Mike, how important is direct glute training, specifically the glute kickback machine?
I guess is that what it's called? Hip.
No, the one
hip
where
thrusts and
not that
butt
one,
blaster.
the butt blaster.
Yeah. I've done it periodically. I find more on sumos and squats. But yeah, here's the thing. For you, I'm assuming that maybe that's a lagging body part, or you would like to develop it more, John. And so I would just incorporate it in and see how that works for you. Because I know you set up the question, so it's, how important is direct glute? If it's important to you, then it's important. You know what I mean? I don't think it doesn't have to be my importance. And me saying skip it doesn't mean you should skip it. You know, if I say, hey, just go do hamstrings and walk-in lunges, you're going to hit the glutes there. You know, on your leg regular leg day, maybe a wide stance leg press, you're going to hit a lot of glutes on that as well. But again, I think it goes back just to what you want to try to do and see if you can do it. The cool thing is, this does take a long time. So there's nothing wrong with taking 3 months to put that in the forefront of your development training and say, hey, I want to work on a couple of things. My number one thing I want to work on is glutes. We'll do that. We'll take an exercise and go, okay, this is going to be our exercise for this body part. And we're going to really focus on getting strong with this specific exercise. So, that being said, do it with body parts. I say this all the time. If you got a legging body part, first couple months, I'd double up on it. You got legging shoulders, do shoulders twice a week. Regardless of people saying, wow, that's a little too much training. Focus on it. If it's a legging body part, put a little bit more effort on that bad boy and rock and roll. And cut back on gifted body parts. Save some of that energy during the week. I think for me, I was on this extreme deficit, cutting up for this next movie. And so today, 3 days in a row, kind of caught up to me. It would have been a good day to call it in.
Bucket.
But man, I go off the night before on how I feel, and then I just hit it.
Who is this guy? He thinks he's fucking got jokes.
I don't know. He looks good, man. What is he, 25, 30 years old, looking at that photo? Hello.
I AI'd that photo.
You AI'd it?
Yeah.
Mr. Bobo, hello, sir.
My uncle Jeff Sneed was a bodybuilder and knows
Jeff
Mike O'Hearn.
Sneed. Yeah. Holy shnikes. Give him my best. Jeff Sneed is old school. Let me see if I can find some photos of Jeff Sneed.
I got Jeff Sneed right here.
You got it?
You
Throw some Jeff up there.
Look at this.
And you guys will be able to tell the era of these.
Nice. Can you see these?
Yeah.
Not much.
Top there.
Right there.
No, that's not Jeff.
That
Oh, it is. Yeah, it is. He was a top 5 at the Nationals here and there and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Give him my best. Did having an uncle like that motivate you to move into exercising and working out? He was very quiet, from what I remember. He was very quiet and very polite kind of guy.
I love many sets with low reps to avoid mileage, like 7 sets, 2 reps. Great gains, but when does that go too far? Like 14 sets, 1 rep.
Oh, great question.
Same total volume as 7x2, but it just seems wrong. When does it go too far?
Well, you're not planning the day, right? You're planning the 12 weeks. And that's what power bodybuilding is. So you planned out the 12 weeks. And so the use of 5 to 7 is that the volume. And 5 to 7 is not the rep range, it's the sets you're doing. So how I calculate it out is that what I do is I use those 5 to 7s and then I use the 2s to 3s in that range. And that's why power bodybuilding is such a benefit, to get so strong and so much density and thickness. And so then what you do is you calculate that out till the end of the time of those 12 weeks, and you utilize that 7 to 5 or 5 to 7 sets, and you use the 2 to 3s. And so you're periodically adding in more volume, right? Which is more reps at the end of the day with less weight. And then you get to more weight and more weight and more weight. And you keep going up with the volume before you move on. Then you drop it back down. And then you move back up with those numbers with that new weight. And then you drop it back down to step up again. So the great thing is it allows you to do this little hop, skip, and jump as the numbers go. Hopefully everybody understands that. And if you don't even sweat it. This stuff is simple but hard. But after you do it a few times, you'll get this understanding. And that's why the Power Body Mind program is the #1 program over there in the Titan crew. It just sets you up to get, I guess you would say, results. You get results. And that's the coolest thing about seeing your strength go up every couple of weeks, seeing your size go up, seeing all those things go, wow, I thought I had to train for a year before I saw any kind of improvement. No, you get to see it every couple of weeks. Yes, it did. So I asked the question earlier if having an uncle that exercised at that level and had an incredible physique helped motivate him as a kid, and it did. I love that. Nice, thank you. Good question, though. Good question on the volume. But yeah, going to 14 sets, and then you could have gone up in weight prior to going to 14 sets. So the point isn't to,
Right.
the point is to use the numbers to get to heavier weight. It's not to continue to add on volume.
Working on right now.
Okay, I'll see you guys in 2 seconds.
See you there.
All right, give me another one. Hello from, what is it, Australia?
Is training once a week? Is training a body part once a week enough?
So this is a great question. I understand the question, and everybody here should be able to answer that question for yourself. You don't need me to answer that, right? And so my last statement about the guy that's doing the volume with the sets and reps. So he will automatically see a strength gain every couple of weeks. Now, what does strength gain mean? Well, it means your connective tissue is getting stronger and you're building muscle. So that right there tells you what you're doing is working, right? It's the same thing here. It's the same thing here. You, within a couple weeks, should be able to tell yourself, wow, the nutrition is working. I'm firing up on all cylinders. This is great. Doing my one body part a week is working for me. We're gold. I don't need to go and ask somebody else outside of myself for this. Now, what you can do is use the Titan crew to go, hey, am I moving in the right direction? Is what I'm seeing enough weight? Am I gaining too much weight? Is my strength moving at a level that's okay where I'm not going to hurt myself? So those are always good things to have somebody to bounce it off of. But there has to be a basics to things are working right. And I notice it every couple of weeks that we're going in that right direction. So listen to this. If you're going to get stronger, it happens. It just happens. And you'll notice it. And you'll be able to go, wow, I went up 5 pounds this last 3 weeks on the bench. And I went up another 10 pounds on my squat. You're in the right direction. Now, same thing. If it doesn't, man, when I started this month, my squat was, let's say, a number 300. And now a month later, my squat is only 270. Going the wrong way. Are you in a deficit? Are you overtraining? What's going on here? Why is it going in that direction instead of the other direction? And the physique as well. You weighed in, you took some photos, you go, hey, this looks pretty decent. I'm doing good. Let me up the calories a little bit to make sure I'm recovering well and getting stronger and bigger. Am I recovering well enough? Is the strength well enough? So those are all kind of aspects that you'll know if it's working right.
When doing shoulders, do you hit all 3 parts evenly, or do you prioritize a specific muscle?
Well, yeah, on shoulders, legs, hamstrings. You're trying to do each exercise to your best capability. So that's what I recommend. I recommend doing that. Unless you have such an imbalance to something, then prioritize what's imbalanced. If you got great rear delts and no front delt, 100% focus on the fronts. But if you do have a good balance, then you wouldn't do that. The best you possibly can for all three exercises. Then you got these steps. Gentlemen, let me.
How you doing, Mike? Mike,
I'm doing good, man. I get it. Look at you, studs. Throw a cup of covers. We have Jimmy here with us. Hey, throw it up. Look at this.
Oh yeah,
Jeez Louise.
that was shot 2 weeks ago.
about this one. I talked about this one a little bit. Just a stud. Okay. All right. Jeez Louise. Save the best one for last. Look at the difference.
This is like Superman there. Yeah.
Yeah, but just like
fucking legs.
The body. Now watch my favorite shot. Next.
That's it. That's the signature shot.
That's art.
I'm going to try to replicate that at the Masters Olympia in Tokyo. Let's see how I can compare that.
Such artwork. You know, it's one of those things that I look back and I see the physiques, and I traveled a lot with Nasser El Somebody, traveled a lot with him. And I'm thinking back and I'm like, yeah, he was kind of like more of a thick, big, huge human, maybe a little thicker waist. Then I go back and I look at photos and I go, holy sheesh, no, not relative to the guys today. He was much more tapered. And the reason I say that is I look at your photo here and I'm like, that's not a small guy. He's not 5'3". That's a big boy right there, weighing a large amount. But it's so precise and so pretty.
I think Mike, I think back then we were more like sculptures, right? We when we looked at our physique, we said, okay, where do I need to add? Okay, how do I need to shape this muscle? You know, we took the clay and we put it where we needed to put it, right? And we worked on it and we built that detail, built around us with the fullness. I think in today's world, it's all about how big I can get. You know, and you know, not to mock them, but they get so big, they don't even diet hard enough because that's all new muscle. They get so big so fast that this new muscle, as soon as they start dieting, that's the first thing they lose. Right?
Yeah, I say that over and over again to people. And in today's world with social media, nobody wants to do the off season.
Yeah.
Nobody, and again, you say the word bulk, and in today's society, oh, that's a fat guy. No, it's not a fat guy. It's a guy that's eating a great amount of calories that could instantly change. And here's the difference between a bulky man and a fat man. A bulky man is taking an amount of calories where if he just pulls out a little bit, his body changes dramatically.
Big time.
Problem with a fat guy is his meals are everywhere. This guy has to reconstruct his whole nutrition, and it's going to take a while to get in shape. I'm not saying if you're fat, you can't get in shape, but I'm saying those are two different worlds. And saying that you're bulky is not a bad word, in my opinion.
Right.
In my opinion, I think it means you're healthy. You're eating a large amount of calories and your body's utilizing it. You're recovering, which leads me to my next question. If I'm correct, you're 26 now, right?
27.
27. Okay.
27.
How are you able to even do this at the stage you're at right now? How have you been able to stay healthy, be able to move through this, and be able to do this? To people that are out there that are layman people, most 40-year-olds can't get back to that kind of condition. So how are you doing this?
Well, let's not forget there's a passion element to this, right? So, yeah, I've lived it my whole life. It's not like I woke up and I said, I want to be a bodybuilder. I basically started this, and then I grew into this, and it became a passion of mine. And once it become a passion, it's your life. So training in the gym or training anywhere and eating is part of my life. So even though I retired 25 years, I mean, my last show was the Arnold Classic in 2000. Okay. I never really stopped training. Okay. There was a fat phase from what you're saying. Okay. There was a fat phase, and I'll explain that as a fat phase. And then I went into a bulking phase. But I'll tell you what happened there. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to understand, and you'll definitely understand. So I never really stopped training, but my eating habits were all over the place. Okay. So at some point I was fat, I was big and fat, and then I was bulky and fat. Right. But I was always eating because I was an eater, but the weight that I was carrying always varied. So about 5 years ago, I really felt horrible, like bad. Okay. And I realized, I'm 59 now, right? As soon as I hit 55, I was like, hey man, you got to do something here. And the love handles were coming around, but I was still big, but I was fat too. Right. So I said, let me pull this together. It's not something I didn't know what to do, how to do it. I just had to get with it. And that's what I did. I started 5 years ago. I started looking at my health. I got on HRT. My blood work was horrible. My testosterone levels were 115. 115.
Okay, so
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now,
just to give you an idea, anybody, before you jump, just 115 is maybe a female on HRT. It's low. It's very it's below 3. 3 is low.
Right.
So for 100, what was the energy? What was the mind?
So let me tell you, when I went and I got the test done, and they came back and they told me my test level was 115. The doctor actually said, "How are you functioning?" And let me tell you how I was functioning. My company BeautyFit was doing millions, so I was good here. Right? I was so like going that I'd never really had time to exhale. And when I did exhale, I got hit by a train. Right? So then I said, you know what? Let me get back on the track. Let me fix the body, because then the mind will be even better. Okay. And that's when I started getting back on track. I started eating healthier, eating more food, right? Food is it's everything. Yeah. Okay. And then I got on some HRT, and my body responded very well. And then I got into the mood of, I got one more in me. So as crazy and delusional that was, I'm actually making it happen. So last year, 2 years ago, was the Masters in Romania, which I actually tried to prep for. But I really didn't have it together, right? I was trying to fix the outside before I fixed the inside. And so the Romania happened, and then the Masters didn't happen last year. And then I got wind that they're going to be in Tokyo this year in August, about a year ago. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm doing this. I'm going to put everything I know in place. I'm going to bring everybody I know. I'm going to build a team around me that can help me. Okay. Because back then, Mike, we didn't have any help. Right?
You'll get a kick out of that new social media stuff going, hey, a guy trained without a trainer and turned pro. It's like, guys,
right.
Yeah, that's just in the last couple of decades that these people do this stuff. That's all we did back in the day.
Yeah, it was normal. I mean, I grew up on Muscle and Fitness and Flex magazines. Over in Greece, I would go to the newsstand and try to figure it out, and and then go back into the gym and train. So about a year ago, I decided to make a run for it. I was ready. Like I was ready. My heart was ready. The love was ready. And that's where it starts, right? The passion. So I started training a little heavier, felt great. Food was up, felt great. And then I was like, I got to put a team together. So I got a physical therapist. I got a massage therapist. I'm my own coach. Okay. Because nobody knows my body better than I do. Okay. I know we second guess ourselves, but what I did is I pulled Jimmy out of Jimmy Mentis and said, okay, if Jimmy Mentis came to you, how would you train him? Don't think about it. Because when I coach people now, I'm like, do this. I don't second guess it. Why do I second guess myself? So I pulled myself out and I started training myself. So about 6 months ago, I fully committed to the Masters and I started training. Now, here's the kicker. I started training the way I used to train. Okay. And my weight's going up, my strength's going up, and I wake up one morning and I'm dead. When I say dead, Mike, dead. John, I was dead. Okay. On the leg press, I went from 5 plates. Within 3 weeks, I was doing 12 on each side. Okay. And 2 days later, I woke up and my wife goes, "What's wrong?" I'm like, I'm dead. I'm dying. I was so overtraining because I thought I'm 25 again. All right. So I realized that this train is not on the right tracks. So I got rid of everything. I got a clean sheet of paper and I started all over again. Right. It was painful, but it was good. So once I put the train back on the tracks, I got my physical therapist, I got my massage therapist, I called John. I called John and I said, "Hey, I'm coming over to see you." And he goes, "Come on over." I said, "I want to look like Michael Hearn."
Yeah. Okay. All right. This fake news, guys. Fake news.
So he put me on a plan. I got my stuff from whatever I was doing, and everything's rolling great. And are you taking the MK677?
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah.
Dude. I mean,
yeah.
Within I'm not even gonna say 1 day because I know it's like no one's gonna believe me. Okay. So I'm gonna say within 2 days, I was eating my meals without a problem. I was like under eating according to my appetite. And I couldn't finish my meals 2 days before. And I called John. I'm like, "John, does this really work like this?" He goes, "Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah." I'm like, "Okay." And then I got the Hercules potion. So like all of this stuff, to answer your question, I've put all these elements into my protocol from nutrition, training, supplementation, peptides, that, man, I feel great. Like I really feel great. I'm hungry.
There's 3 things you
Food's
said.
on the way.
Yeah, feed this man. You said 3 things I'd like to just jump back over real quick. What was it? And it's a hard thing to do. The mind and the head. It's, you think we're still those teenagers, at nationals. And so what was it that hit you besides the soreness and feeling fatigued? Where was the recap and where you kind of go, okay, I got to stop? Where did the mind switch? And what was it? Not just the soreness and being fatigued and tired, but I guess my point is people out there are going to say, well, I'm tired, so maybe I'm overtraining. Well, there's a huge difference between being lazy and just wanting to cop yourself out. And we were talking before you got on. I was calling some weights out today, and as soon as I said it verbally out loud, I called myself a pussy inside, and I said, "Yeah, I go put some plates on." It just went anyways. You know, it was like, what's the trick for these people out there? What's the mindset?
You know, that's a really good question. It's an open question, but here's how I handled it. First of all, I didn't realize the difference between my thought, my mind, and my central nervous system. Okay.
It's a good one. Huh?
Okay. So when I never knew that I had a central nervous system. Okay, because it was always go. There's no like reps in reserve. There's none of that stuff. Okay. You go till failure. And then once I had the opportunity to feel like I got hit by a train, I still wanted to train, but I couldn't. And then I realized, okay, this is it. At 59, okay, I'm learning this, right? I never would have thought about this if I didn't start prepping, right? So, and I said to myself, now this is what they call, you know, getting killed by your central nervous system. So then I started training accordingly, you know, still crazy in the gym, but I gave myself time to recover.
That's huge.
Just for you guys at home, and again, I was so blessed to come from a powerlifting athletic background that I understood the nervous system. But when I got to Golds in 89, 90, everybody, all bodybuilders trained like savages and heavy. And we were moving weights. Like I said yesterday, having the podcast is like Tom Plaza, my first training partner. If you think there was an off button, there's not. And I remember Jimmy, and we all moved those kind of heavy weights. And we even though I came from a powerlifting background, we bypassed that nervous system aspect of it and go, we'll just do one body part and we'll just destroy. And it's great at this stage that you're going, okay, we can do that as teens and 20s. You got to be intelligent enough when you're in your 40s, 50s, and 60s to go, okay, I've tapped into that too much. Let's pull back. And so it's great that you could do that, because most guys, especially at your level, you don't have an off button.
Yeah.
You know,
I still don't have an off button.
Yeah.
But now I can manage I can manage the days. Like before, when I took a day off, like yesterday, was it yesterday we had a day off? We had a day off yesterday, right? Okay. Like yesterday we had a day off. I couldn't wait for my day off. Okay. 6 months ago, there was no way I was going to have a day off. You know, and knowing that now, going back in today, I'm ready to go.
I love that. Being 59, how long you been married now?
10 years.
Okay. Oh, same time, huh? All right.
Yeah.
I ordered mine though. I ordered her off a website. That being said, having a wife,
mine just crashed the party. Yeah, she just
need.
crashed the party. I said, "Get out." She goes, "No, I'm staying."
I know that you have a savage of a woman, and we've talked
Yeah.
about this. We all three of us are blessed with these
Thank God.
beastie women that don't.
Yeah.
It just. How was the discussion, and what can you tell the people out there to say, hey, here's my talk. I'm telling her, guess what? I'm doing this absolutely psycho thing where I'm going to diet down and get on stage again. This is something that you weren't around for when I did it, you know, back in 2000 and before, but I want you to be there. What was that conversation?
It was really easy. She knew it. She knew I was hurting.
You could feel it.
Oh man, she knew it. She knew. I listen. Let me tell you something. I would see shows. I would see people. I would see covers on my magazines. I break down. She knew.
Wow.
She knew. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. She knew. And as soon as I said, "Hey, what do you think?" She goes, "Better fucking do it and do it right." She goes, "You got one shot." Yeah. She goes, "You got one shot." I said, even if you told me to go for 2 shots, I only got 1.
I love
Yeah.
PT 141 will take care of that. No, side note, for anybody else listening to what he just said, I think that is awesome. And to have a significant other that's get back in the game, go get back in the fight, regardless of the age, that's there for you. So I think that's such a plus for you.
Yeah. Mike,
And
she still
yeah.
thinks I'm delusional.
Yeah, no, I agree. I know they're not
Yeah.
changing it, but
Yeah.
they know that you need to fight. It wasn't just me that I competed in martial arts, and then I got lucky to get these shows like Battledom and Gladiator, where I got to kick guys' asses. And then after I finished up in my 40s on Gladiators, I stepped away, and it was like a year ago now. She kind of goes, "You need to go fight. You need to get back in this and stuff." And it was cool to have somebody just go, "You're a weird dude without it. Go get rid of that energy and then go battle." And so she's saying, "I know that you're a warrior. You need to get on stage so I could have the full you again."
That's exactly what it is. But the thing is, when you find that one person that you like said, man, where were you 25? We're not 20 because I retired 25. Where were you 40 years ago? Right? There's 2 chances if I found her 40 years ago. Number one, I'd probably be Mr. Olympia, or she wouldn't be around. So like the timing right now is like, hey, let's just do one together. Let's just do one together. That was it.
I've had that
I
talk
think it's
as
just
well.
cool that she's supporting the dream and the goal, right? Like there are people like, especially like when we start getting older, right? And at that point, like, and they've not been in the industry, they're not like really crazy about it. And like you tell them, like, hey, listen, I want to do this. And like, why? This is gonna take time away from me. You're gonna be like this, you're gonna have to do this. And like I've seen the other side of things where they don't support. And it's just at that point it's a battle. And now you got to battle at home, you got to battle in the gym, and battle on the stage. So
just the psychology behind that, right? The psychology, and Johnny just hit it out of the park. Jimmy said it in a way, and I said it the same way. We got lucky in this. A significant other normally will not want you to go do that, because then at this stage of the game, at 59, Jimmy's going to go get all pretty and full abs and look all tan, and she's just going to be covered model again. I don't want you to get that good, because then you're going to leave me.
Yeah, she knows. She knows I don't have the energy to go anywhere else.
But that's what these people are dealing with. The people out there. But for you guys that are out there and you're dealing with a significant other that's like that, just go through that and stay with them and keep showing them that you can do this and you can get back in the mix of it and not leave them in the sense. But I love that you have that capability. And Johnny, you hit it out of the park. Most don't want that. You don't need to get in shape. You don't need to do this.
Why are you doing this now? Like you couldn't, like it's just, I've heard the other side. And I'm like,
there's a difference why people do things, right? Like I never got into bodybuilding for people to say, hey, you look great. I mean, if you go back to my whole history, you've never seen me in a tank top. I mean, I run butt naked on stage. I got no problem with that, but I'm that guy who bodybuilt for me,
We covered it up.
Me going out there and showing off and this and that. If I did that, it's all marketing. There's a reason why I did that. The reason why we did the covers and the reason why we did all that kind of stuff. Right. But for me to go out there,
it wasn't for the $300 for the cover. It wasn't for that.
No, it wasn't. But you know what? We flew around the world for that, though.
Yeah, we did. But we did cover it up. That was the one thing I think that I miss about the 80s and 90s is we kept it covered, because you don't want to show the other guys what you're doing and what you're looking like. I'm still
like that. Like I put this shirt on, right? And John's like, "What do you want? A double XL?" So I'm like, "Give me a triple or 4XL, so I can just cover my arms and stuff like that." I came with a baggy shirt and baggy pants.
Oh, yeah.
He put me into this
For sure.
So
how important is that? Just understand the psychology for everybody that's listening again. He's covering up because it has nothing to do with outside forces for what he wants to look like. It has everything to do with his mind.
Well, don't forget, Mike, don't forget, there's also a goal here for me, right? So let's take all these years out of it, right? When you got ready for a show, there was a goal. There was a certain way you needed to look. So up to that, you didn't care how you looked, or you didn't care what people said how you looked. Okay? Because if you do, you're doing it all for the wrong reasons, right? And number two, if you're getting ready way too fast for the show, your timing's off. Okay? So I got until August. I'm 24, 23 weeks out. Okay? If I start looking good now, I'm losing way too fast. Again, my goal is to peak at the day of the show. In other words, if I want to show off and I want to prove to the world who I am and to show off my physique, it's that day. If not, I would have been ripped 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days, a year. But that's not why I do this. I don't bodybuild. I'm in the sport of bodybuilding.
This goes back to the bulking.
Yes.
And going, and Joe Weider said it to me when I was 20. He goes, I got a cover over here and there's 5 girls around me. And I would like to think that the 5 girls around me is because I was such a sexual Tyrannosaurus Rex. It wasn't. It was because I just won the California powerlifting. He wanted me on the cover. And so I showed up and he goes, "Oh, you fat." He put 5 chicks around me to cover me. So he goes, "Never show it unless it's ready for stage."
Yep. Yeah.
And I never changed that approach. And like you said, bulking may seem bad to everybody else out there, but the point is for you to retain and get back all that muscle that young Jimmy 20-year-old had,
right,
and then peak on that one day, not 3 months out, not 2 months out. And I don't hear anybody talk about this, and I say it all the time. It says there's times there you're going to look worse before you look better.
And that's most of the time.
That is.
But that's most of the time.
Yeah.
But why are they not willing to go through that to be that
Because
good?
they're not doing it for those reasons. They're worried about what the other person next to them is thinking.
Or Instagram or Facebook. They need the views. The more diced you are, the more views you're going to get. You go up there looking flabby, you're going to get trounced. Especially if you're a pro. You're a pro and you go up and you go on online and you start posting pictures and you don't look in the part, people are going to start putting you underneath the microscope and start slamming your ass. I mean, so there's like an outside force to some of these people where they care so much about what everybody else thinks instead of worrying about what they should be doing and worried about what they think about what's going to be going on. And if they truly know the path, that's the other thing. I don't think there's enough people out there that really do trust the process. They don't. They just don't, because these guys are jumping coaches. They're doing these different things. I come up to them on the street. I'm like, hey, listen, you need to incorporate this in your program. They start doing it, right? Like, you're not following the program. You're not following the process. How do you expect the result? And then they don't look at it, and then they start blaming on everything else. So, I think there's an outside aspect where people, they're trying to monetize on their look and think they should be stage ready 24/7, 365. And we all know for real, like that's not gonna happen.
But there's also another element on this, right? And I'm sure you've seen it. The guys who get ready for shows, they're just getting ready for shows because. But where they're trying to make money is on social media. Okay? So there's not really a big demand or there's not a lot of pressure on them to show up ready. Day of the show. You can't tell me, I don't care what anybody says, that the guys today look better than the guys back in the 90s.
I don't think so.
You can say whatever you want. I'm saying, look, I'm not going to say they train harder. I'm not going to say they're more dedicated. The thing is, they don't look more defined.
more ripped, more shredded than we were. And I'll tell you why. Because they don't need to. Because the criteria nowadays is not as deep as it used to be. Okay. Now, also, if I have a 2 million followers, let's say I did, which I don't, okay, I wouldn't even know what to do with 2 million followers. Okay. But if I had 2 million followers, why would I compete? Okay. Now, let's bring up Chris Bumstead. Okay. I love Chris. Do you think he's going to be as effective on social media now that he retired than he is competing? No.
I don't think so.
He's going to lose something. How many times can that guy post about him a day in the life of? People want to see journeys. People want to see transformation. You want to call it transformation. Journeys. Is it growing a business? Is it raising a child? Is it having a baby? Is it, I mean, the following that I have in the last 6 months and the DMs that I have in the last 6 months, I even told my wife, I'm like, I have 72,000 followers. I get about 30 DMs a day, and I can't even respond to them. How does Chris or you, how do you guys handle this?
Jeff.
You know, you see what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like, it's like people, as soon as I said that I'm doing this and I'm getting, people are gravitating towards the journey.
Yeah.
So that's what I think these guys in social media are doing. They're creating the journey, but they don't care the end result of that journey. There are a lot of good bodybuilders out there, a lot. Okay. And if they were about 10 pounds lighter, they'd be dominating. But no one wants to go down that rabbit hole.
I got two things I want to touch on, and I know I've kept you guys way too long already, but these two things are, it's interesting to me that first of all, I know how lucky I am that I've stayed on my beliefs on lifting and eating, and food is medicine, and then optimize your body the very best you can in a healthy way, not a trophy way. And that's where Titan Medical comes into play. But you said something really early on in this whole discussion where you said, I was working on my outside, not the inside. And Johnny says this poetically. He says you could have a fancy car and a Pinto engine. If the inside isn't working, can you explain this to everybody here that thinks I look good, I got abs, so obviously I'm healthy? Can you talk about outside to inside?
Yeah, and the thing is, that was my mistake because I thought I was 25, right? So when I started back into this off-season prep, a year ago, I thought, because I'm Jimmy Mentis, I can flip a switch. Right? I can flip a switch, eat my 5-6 meals and train, and everything will come back together. But little did I know, hormonally, I wasn't optimized, right? Just in general, my joints, my ligaments, the stretching side, my lower back, glutes, my tight glutes, everything just came down on me. So what I realized was I had to build the foundation again. Like once you build the foundation, and this is what I coach, and I'm sure you do too, you have to build your foundation, and then you build your four walls.
Absolutely.
Right? And at that point, you can design any house you want. So when I hit the wall, and it was painful, but I needed it because I wasn't going to make it. I was not going to make it. I was just going to work myself down to the ground, And when I realized that I need to build a foundation, that's when I called everybody, like John. I called everybody that I needed to do, and I said, okay, here we are. I'm 270. I'm 15% body fat. Let's fix this. And that's what we did. And that's where I decided from the inside, once my insides were good, my digestion was better. I was getting pain free. My whole attitude, my mindset, you know, and usually wherever the mind goes, the body follows. Okay. And now it's following. Whenever I want to push myself, whenever I want to do those extra 3 reps, the cardio, everything I want to do now, my body can follow. It's not like my brain, because my mind is very strong, very, very strong. Okay. And now wherever I want to take it, I'm good. Like my body goes with it.
Yeah. For anybody else out there, again, outside to inside, I know that you may get up and be happy with how you look and stuff, but just get your blood work just to make sure the inside is working as well, and working not just well, but better. And in today's day and world that we live in 2025, the stuff that Titan Medical can do to help you optimize it is tremendous. And then I finish on this last question. I love the fact that you're putting the memory muscle on. I love that you're in a surplus of calories to get that muscle that you're going to need to step on there against. I forgot who else was just saying that they're going to do the Masters.
Brandon Curry's going to show up.
Brandon, I mean, geez Louise. So you got these guys that are already incredible, and they've been competing this last couple of years. You have to go in this surplus of calories. You're going to have to start lifting some thickness, some density, and get all that back. But you're bulking at 59. And I don't know why I'm getting these messages now and this snowflake mentality, or these woke people going, hey, you're not supposed to bulk after 40.
Oh, yeah. We got that comment. Are you kidding me?
What do you think you're supposed to do?
The guy's like, stay lean. I'm like, oh, my God.
As you age?
It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah. So can you just kind of your take on someone actually, I hate that the world is going in this direction, but can you talk about calorie surplus bulking?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's to me, I don't think, well, here's the thing. I always love to eat more so I can train more. Okay. I'm not the type, and to do cardio. Like I keep my calories here instead of here. Okay, we know calories in, calories out, right? But everybody else that I know, and I'm trying to help, as I'm sure you do too, everybody keeps their calories here. I eat less, do less cardio, or no cardio at all. How are you feeding the body? Right? So what I do is I take my calories up here, 4,000, 5,000. I mean, my goal is to be around 5,000, 5,500 calories. I'm at 4 now. Okay. Mike, I started at 25 and I couldn't eat.
No, but everything you're saying is I wish these people would listen to this and take this to depth on this. Just because you're at 25 and you go, well, that's good.
Yeah. So what I did was I increased my calories slowly. Okay. But I also increased my intensity of training. And I also increased the calories I want to burn through my cardio. I don't train to burn fat. I eat to build muscle. I train to burn muscle. I do cardio to burn fat or to maintain my cardiovascular. Okay. So when I take it up to the 5,000 calories, I train. I'm able to train. Okay. So I'd rather have more calories, more muscle mass. Okay. And then if I want to go in a deficit, I do more cardio, but I'm still up here. So my body is taking in all the nutrients. Okay. It's metabolizing, utilizing all the protein. Okay. I'm almost taking 2 grams per body weight.
That's good.
Okay. Good. And I know now I'm on the right road. It took me a while because I'm not saying I didn't know what I was doing. My body just wasn't responding. And I thought I was able to just jump into it. So everybody, whoever's listening, you have to be patient. You know, it was very painful for me, very painful, because I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought, you know, hey, I'm Jimmy Mentis. I could do this, right? But I'm not. I'm not Jimmy Mentis. I'm just a guy who's trying to get back in shape.
I wish we're going to cut this bad boy up just because you just gave a basic seminar on basic health and fitness and nutrition 101. This is the most basic stuff. And it's funny because I'm still working on my foundation, and I just work off of everything you just said. Your body doesn't at times work with you. And it doesn't matter if you're at 25 or 3,500 calories. Sometimes it's stubborn and you got to stay in it, and you got to go through the dips to get to this point. And I love that you said all this, because for everybody out there, it's never too late. You can do this. There's going to be bumps. It's going to be hard. There's going to be times that you think, oh, well, 3,000's it. It's just like lifting. Try to get stronger. Try to get the calories up, because if he's at 5,000 calories at 59 years old and he wants to go into a deficit, guess what? 4,000 calories, which is a lot for an average human, is a deficit.
That's right.
Now, to me, that says his body is working tremendously well compared to these kids out here on social media going, I fast 3 days a week. I have protein on the other days. I do this, and I go, dude, holy shit. You're doing that at 20. I can't fathom what you're going to look like at 30. You're going to be broken.
But Mike, here's what I do, and this is going to work this time again. Again, whatever I did back then, I'm going to do again. I just needed to set the foundation, right? So I'm going to be eating the 5,000 calories. I'm not dropping below the 5,000 calories. I will never drop. The last Arnold I did in 2000, I went into the show eating 9,400 calories.
Jeez Louise. Jeez Louise.
Okay. Then after the night show, Chris Cormier and Flex are like, hey, man, let's go eat. I'm like, hell no. I'm grabbing 3-4 Cokes, Coke Zeros, Diet Coke. I'm going to my room. I didn't want to eat again. Okay. So what I'm going to do this time is what I did back then. I'm going to go up to the 5,000. You know, maybe I'll go 5,500. I don't know. Wherever that takes me. But I won't drop my calories. I'm going to increase my cardio. 45 minutes. I already have those numbers. 45 minutes for me on the stepper is 500 calories. 2 times a day.
Boom.
I'm at 7,000 calories. That's 2 pounds of fat a week. And I'm still there.
I love it. I love it. Guys, thanks for doing this today.
Yeah,
Jimmy, I'm excited.
appreciate it.
Go follow.
I can't believe I'm on the Michael Hearn show.
I can't believe I got you on here. Johnny, thank you for locking them down on this.
Of course, man. Of course. We appreciate it as always. guys.
Anytime, man.
All the best to your family. I know some stuff's going, and I just love,
Thank
brother.
you.
Love.
Thank you. Love you
Cherish,
too, man. Thank you so much.
cherish the time.
Yeah.
For all of us outside of bodybuilding and health and fitness, cherish those around you, and
Thank you.
get a good team and Titan Medical. Thanks, man.
This
Let me
year's
tell you
Olympia looks like we're gonna have, Mike, we're gonna have
wow.
Jimmy, and who else gonna show up at the booth?
Listen, we got all the senior citizens at the booth this year. We're good.
Hey, you know what? One thing I can say is now I'm collecting the legends here at this point, and this is true longevity. These are
Yeah.
guys that are 56,
Yeah.
59 years old, outdoing 20, 30, 40-year-olds like it's nobody's business. So at this point, I mean, I'm 44, so I'm a young buck compared to you guys. But what I'm trying to say is that, hey, listen, these guys are setting the example of what longevity can look like. You can still have size, you can still tussle, you can still train, and you can still compete at that age. If you really want to do that, it's really what you want to do. But this is true longevity. So I'm blessed to have you guys a part of the team, and we're just going to be kicking ass and taking names.
Love it, man. Good
Much
peeps.
love, bro.
Thanks, guys.
Peace, man.
Later,
Love you.
man.
Unreal. It's an echo of the stuff I say. Lose your understanding of what bulking means. Bulking just means that you're trying to put muscle on and you're in a surplus of calories and you're retaining some extra water, a little extra fat. You can burn the fat off easier than you can build muscle. So don't sweat that. Keep covered up. Your goal date should be a date. It shouldn't be every single day. You should try to get as much muscle as you can as you're going through life. That way you can continue to do this later in life. Everything he said is just so repetitive of our beliefs. Going into a show at 9,400 calories, I wrote that down. I'm like, wow, that's most I ever went into a show was at 4,700 for the universe. And I loved how I looked and everything like that, but that was a lot. And that's a deficit going into a show. So again, it goes back to like Lee Priest and all of us talked about. Cardio does come into play as you get ready for a show. Training around calorie intake. Again, like we said when I first started talking, the reason I went in today and I felt beat down is, again, I'm in a deficit, and it's going to happen. But as soon as this is over, I'm in shape. We go back into the calorie intake. That's it. Thanks, guys, for hanging.